All right. Hey, what's going on, my friends? This is your boy Turgon coming at you again with a new video today. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever in the world you may be as I'm recording this. And today I just want to provide an update on our current season. This is my ninth season playing Lord of the Rings Rise to War. My first season playing with a team called YADU. YADU? Good team, really, really good team. Really, really love it here. Kudos, great leaders, great team, great players, good camaraderie. Shout outs to my brethren in leadership, Detro, Poet, Pure Hate, um, Fuck. Siri, Mandingo, Weps, all you guys, top-notch guys. Really, I just want to give you a shout out because I appreciate all the work that we've put in together on the season. Some other quick shout outs to some of my other old friends that I've been playing with for many seasons: X, Aperk, Azor, Detrope, Lord Morpheus, Swilisi 6, Desolation, Smog, Turgon. You guys are fucking amazing people. Anyway, so, getting back to the goodies, I want to talk you through what all has happened this season because this map, it's a little shocking to see it look this way because it took a lot of work to get here. It looks, lopsided in favor of Rohan and Loth. And Erebor's got a lot of land as well at this point, but that's probably going to go away pretty soon. If I had to make a bold prediction. Anyway, so the season began, and that first week of the season, as it is with any rebuilding glory season, is primarily just get yourself farmed up, get yourself developed, make your land grabs, and go through the dance of politics to figure out who you want to align with, who is going to be your united faction partner, what naps are you considering or make, these kind of things. And it was interesting. I have a unique perspective on this season, being a diplomat on Yadu, and I feel comfortable at this point in the season now, where we've reached a point where it feels like the season is kind of under control. Of course, don't take anything for granted. The opposition on this server was, what's the right word I'm looking for here? I mean, we respect them. That's really what I'm going for. It was a very good fight for quite a while, and it's shocking, like I said, to see the map look this way. Here, only we've just entered our fifth week of the season. We just completed 4 weeks of the season. So, from a timeline perspective, one would think there's a lot of season left, but based upon the map and where we are with the season mission progression, we probably are going to be done this thing in the next 2 or 3 weeks. It's going to be a pretty, I think, all things considered, it's looking likely that it's going to be kind of a quicker rebuilding glory season. At any rate, what happened? So in the beginning, we made some had some discussions with Lothlorien about moving into position for the Undeeps, and they were amicable towards that, which we certainly appreciated. That lended tremendously towards our relationship, and we moved in that area, but we didn't take it for quite a while. No one else was really there. Lost said they didn't want it. The sticking point is being how to get to it, because the only way to get to it from Rohan is through Celebrant Fields. Or you can take the long way around, all the way around from Eastham to Emmenwheel up here the road that way, which takes days and days and days. The quicker way from the Wold is to just take Celebrant here. So that was an interesting kind of first taste of diplomacy. Bear in mind, this is my first season with Yadu, and being a new to the team and being a new leader, I wanted to be extra cautious not to do things that may be frowned upon. For example, like making unilateral decisions or, you know, dominating conversations, things like that. I try not to do those kind of things. I like to be as fair and balanced as I can of a leader. I like receiving feedback. I like working with the other leaders as part of the decision making and planning process. And this has been a really good team to do that with. So again, kudos to you guys. Um, then we started moving down south, and we wanted to come down here and take Langstrad and take these regions that are considered kind of core Gondor regions. And Gondor responded in a way that illustrated that they were not pleased with that. They came right over here. They started putting forts up by Langstrand, and we basically offered them a non-aggression pact, or a NAP for anyone who's not familiar with the terminology. And we said we're going to take these three regions. You can have the rest. We're not going to take anything else east of here. And in exchange, if someone threatens your capital, we're going to come and help you. And they said, well, why don't we just unite a faction? And we said, well, you only have 125 people. You just don't have enough firepower to make it worth it for us. We don't want to fight you, but you're not quite strong enough to be really as impactful of a partner as we would like. And they accepted those terms, which we deeply appreciated. All the guys in Alba um, appreciate that collaboration there. And as you can see, based upon the map, things have turned out pretty well, um, all in all. So from there, they started pushing and grabbing Harandor, and they took, Osgiliath, and they took whatever this is called, Doran, Ernal, the Colonel. Uh, and we started, working to farm these. We talked and had some pretty lengthy discussions about Tarlar with Lothlorien, and ended up agreeing to let them have that. They wanted the farm. They wanted Wozus. We shared the Wozus. We shared the Wozus together. The land has been pretty secure. There hasn't been any real like attempts to get down here by our western enemies in Arnor. And after a week of the season, a lot of folks were like, "We don't want to talk about UF right now. We just want to like wait and see, blah blah blah." The only faction that was really amicable towards having the discussion was Lothlorien, and we ended up doing a united faction with them. It was pretty close on their vote on their side. They were considering doing a united faction, I guess, with Erebor or with Arnor. I'm not sure, but they ended up just choosing to go with us, and that partnership has been good. Although a whole side chapter of the season is all the drama that has happened in Lothlorien, which I have special understanding of because of my unique relationship with another couple members of Lothlorien leadership. Shout out to Deanna, Chubb, Leon. Who else am I missing? Relics, Adeline, who is taking a break from leadership this season. Congratulations on the kid. Just wanted to throw him a shout out nonetheless. A lot of friends on this server, which has made it more fun on a personal level for me. It's good to work with your friends and not have to fight them, but we were having the conversation together to say like what is going to be the most balanced server that we can achieve. We don't want to just you know what's the right word? We don't want to just dominate the server. That's not We're not the kind of team or players that try to do those kind of things. We like good balanced prolonged fighting. And as you can see from this map, there is definitely a lot of fighting going on all over the place. And I'll get into that more in a little bit as I wrap up my story here. So in the end, when the United faction finally did unlock, Gundabad was there was some speculation that Variag might UF with Mordor because Mordor was holding some Variag players, but then they ended up faction changing back over to Variag. So whoever's in Mordor, um, that must not be a particularly pleasant experience because there's probably only maybe like 20, 30, 40 of you guys down there. The rest went over to Variag, and Variag did, in fact, united faction with Gundabad. And I think Arnor, no, I'm sorry, Angmar has not UF'd with anyone because there's really no one for them to UF with other than Rune. Isengard UF'd with Mordor, and like I said, there's like literally like 40 guys in each of those factions, so they're not really doing much. As you can see, they only have one region, and that's their capital region on the map. Um, and then it ended up with Arnor united factioning with Erebor here. Linden is also pretty much empty. Maybe 40, 50 players tops. I mean, they were able to take this 280 keep. So they got something going on there, but not really a whole lot. And so once the UFs were decided, some interesting things happened. Gundabad and Erebor both had naps with Lothlorien established. Gundabad pretty much immediately broke theirs. They didn't break it, they announced it. They gave 48 hours notice that they would break the nap. Kudos to Loth leadership for setting all that up. I don't bother with any of that junk, but it's smart. It's nice to be able to say to have that 48-hour buffer where you know you're about to get attacked, but they won't attack you. It's honorable that they honored that in some ways. However, one of the things that was kind of dirty that they did after they announced that the nap was over, Loth had taken this. Upper Anduin Vale, and they immediately basically walked in there, took all the tiles that weren't owned by Loth and set up forts. And then the minute that the nap was over, they attacked. And Loth held it for a while, but in the end lost this region. And that was when everything became a mess. Um, Gundabad had came down and taken Central Mirkwood. The dwarves came down and took Kelduin, and we were kind of stuck over at Withered. We had taken Brownlands and Withered, and Variags had taken Ashen Plains and Daggerlad. So there was kind of a gridlock between Daggerlad and then Withered East, Mirkwood. There was this big gridlock in here where we were kind of stuck fighting four factions at once between Gundabad, Rune, Erebor, and Variags. So it was like a four factions versus one fellowship kind of a situation. And our second fellowship in Rohan here, Ural, definitely deserves a little bit of a shout out as well because they certainly contributed as best as they could. Um, and so it was really tough because we were basically left to the east. Gundabad was over here. My team was over. We had taken South Anduin Vale, and we were huddled over in this area fighting Gundabad pretty much by ourselves, just like 20 or 30 of us over here versus their entire faction. And we were getting surrounded. They were coming from the north, they were coming from the west, they were coming from the south. They were even trying to flank us over on the west as well, so we would be completely surrounded, and they were going to obviously try to uproot us. And we were able to hold long enough for Loth to come back from their crusade in the west. They had gone over and taken Trollshaw, Ettenmores, North Downs, Rudar, Cardolan, and Minheriath. They had taken all of this. This was all Lothlorien land at one point. And as you can see since then, the Western powers have definitely made some significant changes to the map. Loth moved back over to the east to assist us over here in an attempt to reclaim Upper Anduin Vale, and that was when the West really started getting taken over by Arnor, and then Erebor came over and helped them. And it's just really been nuts. We took We nearly took Daggerlad. We were a little bit irritated because Gondor decided to take um, Minas Morgul instead of coming up to Daggerlad. And we're like, why would you do that? But it worked out in the end because the next war they came up and we were able to take Daggerlad. And once we took Daggerlad, that really helped to break the gridlock, and we can move more of our forces up north to assist in the battle for East Bite. We took East Bite, and then the battle for Central Mirkwood began. Calduin Vale was only taken recently. This was Erebor territory for quite a while. So we were fighting. Rune was coming up from here. Erebor was coming over from here. Variags were putting pressure on Daggerlad from Ashen Plain. We were able to come down here and grab Ashen Plain without war. and push them out for a little bit. That gave us the time that we needed to come up here and fight in Central Mirkwood. We failed in our first attempt to take Central Mirkwood, but I think it really took everything. Gundabad, Rune, Erebor, Variag, they threw basically everything in the kitchen sink at us, and we just were able to thwart our effort to take Central Mirkwood, which was a tremendous victory for them, but maybe it would have been smarter to have just conceded it. I don't know. I don't know what happened on their side. We didn't take Daggerlad, actually. We let Gondor take it after we took it, and then Gondor held over here against Variags while we focused on Central Mirkwood for quite a while. And then they needed a little bit of help, so we came down here and took this and took this and then took this. And then that team relocated and took Pelargir. And just today we've grabbed South Athelion, and now we've got some fighting over here. As you can see, our friends in Gundabad have come down and are trying to make a combined play with Variags to do some damage down here. Maybe they'll try to take Horondor and come over and hit our flank. Um, Maybe they're trying to come back up through here and grab Minas Tirith. Whatever it is they're trying to do, we're probably going to stop them. I say probably because uh, you never know. Anything is possible in this game. In the meantime, after we grabbed Central Mirkwood, we were able to break the stalemate here and here. They had relocated in this whole area. We took Tar Enarath. We helped Lothlorien retake Upper Anduin, and now we've just been cleaning all of these areas. We're starting to work our way into Erebor. Who knows? Maybe we'll take Gundabad and Erebor within the next week here. There's not a whole lot seemingly left to do. That and Dol Guldur, that's going to go down at some point in the next day or so, depending on how everything else goes. Lothlorien is pushing out and should probably be taking Trollshaws. Oh, Rune took Greater Rune finally, the last neutral territory on the map. Yeah, it looks like they're moving in and they're getting ready to fight Trollshaws, which matches the description of the plan that I was aware of. But there's just fighting all over the place on this map. Have you ever seen so many pins on a map? Have you seen a map so colorful in this game? I mean, this in my mind is, the way that this game was intended to be played, not where a bunch of people gang up and just gang bang a server and paint the whole server one or two colors. If you're doing that in this game and you think like you feel good about that, you're not we don't agree. It's just it's kind of, and maybe the server will end up something similar at some point, but we really like good fights, prolonged engagements, lots of pins on the map. I mean, there's one, two, there's three, there's four red pins on this map right now, spread across vast areas of the map. Two down here in the south, two up here in the north. And it's been fun. Kudos to our opposition. I want to give them a shout out and respect, because there's definitely some really solid players overplaying with Morgoth's Pride in Gundabad. And there's also some really solid players down in Variags and Push, and there's some really good people over in Rune that I've had small conversations with, not really anything substantial, but everyone has been really, by and large, pleasant, and there hasn't been a tremendous amount of toxicity on the server. Sure, there's been some shit talking. That's normal. You're going to see that on pretty much any server, but by and large, I think that this server has been exemplary, considering the population that the developers have allowed join the server. I think the server has been a pretty fun, action-packed, dynamic server, and I really enjoyed it. So, like I said, oh, that's really cool. Thanks for the Facebook popper in the middle of my video. Blue stacks. Um, so, yeah, kudos to our opposition. They fought really, really hard and really, really well. It was definitely not easy arriving at this stage of the season. It took a lot of work. Um, across everyone, across the coalition between us, Lothlorien, and Gondor. And kudos to everyone for all their hard work and putting in the time and the effort and the good fights. And it's been a hell of a season. So just a big thank you for everyone. I'll come back and do another video again in another week or two to give you another update, see what's going on. If there hasn't been too much change, if the servers kind of died off, then I'll probably go into conversations about commanders and stuff like that because there have been a lot of really interesting 180 changes that I've done with my commanders, my builds this season in order to fight opponents that I'm not used to fighting more effectively. At any rate, if you're still watching this, I appreciate you taking the time to watch the whole thing. Feel free to leave a like and a comment down below if you have any feedback. I'm always available to be reached on Discord or in game as well. I wish you all well. Thanks so much again for taking the time, and we'll talk soon. Cheers.